Building a $500 desk setup is pretty easy, but building a good desk setup for $300 is where things get pretty interesting, because at this budget you can't get everything. So the question becomes, what actually still matters when money gets tight? Today, I'm building a real $300 desk setup. Desk, chair, monitor, lighting, keyboard, mouse, everything except for the computer itself. And I'm not gonna pretend that this is perfect. We're gonna make trade-offs, but they'll be intentional ones that protect comfort, productivity, and long-term usability. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's worth spending money on and what you can safely ignore. Before we get into the gear, there's one rule that I've followed in this setup. At $300, I'm prioritizing comfort and function, and sacrificing flexibility and aesthetics. That means fewer accessories, fewer upgrades, but nothing that will actively make your day worse. If something doesn't meaningfully improve how you work or feel at your desk, it doesn't make the cut. So keep that in mind as we go. Let's start with the desk. Just like the $500 setup, I'm using the IKEA Lag Captain tabletop with the Atlas legs, which comes into about $70. This is one area I refuse to cheap out further. It's sturdy, easy to assemble, and large enough to comfortably fit everything that we're gonna put on it. At any budget, a desk that's going to wobble or feel flimsy will drive you absolutely insane far before you appreciate the extra $20 that you save. Same desk, lower budget, and it still holds up. Now let's talk about the chair, because this is the most important part of the whole setup. I'm using the Mainstays ergonomic office chair, which costs around $64. And yes, this is the same chair from the $500 desk setup. Look, at $300, this is where a lot of setups start to fall apart. People go too cheap here and end up paying for it with their back. This chair gives you lumbar support, basic adjustability, and a breathable mesh back, and that's enough to stay comfortable for long work sessions. Look, if there's one thing I'm not going to compromise on at this budget, it's the chair. Lighting, however, is where we're going to start to make some real sacrifices. Instead of a monitor light bar like in the $500 setup, we're going with a simple desk lamp, coming in at around $15 to $20. Here's the key though, it's not about the lamp, it's about the placement. You want the light above or slightly behind your monitor, aimed down at your desk, not blasting your screen directly. Done right, this will give you good visibility at night, reduce eye strain, and keep the setup clean without spending any extra money. Is it as nice as a dedicated light bar? No. But is it good enough to work comfortably every day? Absolutely. Look, this one pains me just a little bit, but the keyboard is where I made one of the hardest cuts. In the $500 setup, I used a mechanical keyboard, and I love mechanical keyboards. But at a budget of $300, this is where they stop making sense for most people. Instead, I'm using a simple, low-profile membrane keyboard for about $12. It's quiet, slim, comfortable to type on, and requires zero adjustment. Look, if you're not a keyboard enthusiast, this is going to be the smarter choice, and it frees up budget for things that will matter more. For the mouse, nothing's going to change. A $10 Amazon Basics mouse is more than enough for everyday productivity. Remember, comfort matters more than specs here, so spending more isn't going to magically make you work faster. Simple, reliable, done. Now let's talk about something that most budget setups just completely ignore, and that's cable management. I'm still using the same basic cable management kit that comes in just under $20. It includes cable ties, adhesive clips, and sleeves to route cables under the desk and keep everything out of sight. And look, this isn't just about aesthetics. A clean desk reduces visual noise, and that's just going to make it easier for you to focus every time that you sit down. At this budget, this is still going to be one of the highest return upgrades that you can make for your own productivity. And finally, the monitor, the biggest variable in the entire setup. With the remaining budget, you're going to comfortably be able to afford a 24-inch 1080p IPS monitor, even with a higher refresh rate for under $100. For productivity, that's going to give you sharp enough text, good color accuracy, and plenty of screen space for basic everyday tasks. Is it 4K? No. Is it OLED or a massive 32-inch screen? No. But look, for work, studying, or general use, this is where good enough is actually good enough. So all told, this is what our budget is going to look like once everything comes together. It's going to put us right around the $300 mark, and of course, give or take depending on the current market price of these products. This is a setup that will enhance your productivity and never get in your way, and that's exactly what we need. In the next video, I'm going to be releasing a $1,000 premium desk setup, so if you have some extra cash, be sure to subscribe and look out for that one.